All right. Okay. You guys heard the news. You know about this, right? If you haven't, if you didn't hear anything, you've been living under a rock. Our boy Popovich finally decided to hang it up. As you guys know on this channel, we've talked about it plenty of times, right? Maybe into the ground, where I didn't think he was coming back. When everyone was optimistic about last season, or I guess this season still, I didn't think he would be back. I was like, yeah, maybe next year, but the human part of me wanted him to just hang it up, like just retire, because at this point, I don't know if you can take that much strain when it comes to coaching, right? Like I just didn't like the idea of him coming back. Like one more year would have been great. That would have been ideal. But honestly, I just wanted him to be okay, right? And it seems like he finally made that decision that he's going to walk away, right? So here is Popovich's quote. And I do want to talk about his replacement after this and my thoughts on that. But this right here. So this is what Pop had to say. While my love and passion for the game remain, I've decided it's time to step away as head coach. I'm forever grateful to the wonderful players, coaches, staff, and fans who allowed me to serve them as the Spurs head coach, and I'm excited for the opportunity to continue to support the organization, community, and city that are so meaningful to me. So there's been so many Popovich stories coming out where people are talking about Pop or bringing up some old stories about Pop, and we know all of them, right? Like we know about DeMar DeRozan, family member passed away, his father, right? And Popovich being there for him, or Robert Horry and his daughter being sick, and Robert Horry wanted to come back to the Spurs, and Pop was like, "No, you just stay with your family." Like there's a plethora. Okay, we'll be here forever if we went through every single Popovich story. You guys know how I feel about Pop. I think majority of fans, except for the weirdos, really love Pop. Genuinely, we really do love Pop, and I think that it's way more than him just being a coach. There's enough testimonials at this point, because I don't like to have crazy parasocial relationships when it comes to celebrities, or when it comes to players or coaches or anybody. But Popovich is one of those where there's enough testimonial that we can sit back and probably say, yeah, he's a pretty good guy, right? Like it doesn't matter who it is, who's talking about him. There's always like this level of respect, or there's always this notion that he seems like a pretty decent dude. Even Steven Jackson, somebody who's been the biggest Spurs hater in the world over the course of the last several years, honestly, even he will show immense respect for Popovich and who he is, right? And he gives a lot of thanks to Popovich as he grew as a person. Literally I think this is a telltale sign of how great Popovich is. There's only one person I can think of in media that's pretty horrible when it comes to Pop. There's one person, and that's Skip Bayless. So if you're on the opposite end of any Skip Bayless take, you're probably on the right end of things, right? Like that just is what it is. That dude is delusional. But just overall, I've talked about it verbatim at this point. I love Pop. I'm deeply going to miss him. When I first saw this news earlier, if you guys caught me earlier, I was tearing up, right? So if I would have got this news as we were live streaming, I probably would have teared up. Not going to lie to you. Okay. All right, I'm very in touch with my emotions. Okay. Skip is a clown. Definitely is a clown. But overall, I'm happy that he is walking away. It's like very bittersweet. Because when you go back and you think about the legacy and you think about those Pop moments, and everyone has their own Pop moment, right? Whether it's I Want Some Nasty, whether it's after the 2014 championship, whether it's the Hack-a-Shack moment, like there's so many, and it's undeniable that he's been a part of many of our childhoods, right? He's been a part of my childhood, and he's been a part of a lot of, people college years, just in general. We all had, our Pop moment, right? Even the super young kids at this point has had a Pop moment at this gesture. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the thing that's on everybody's mind, though. And it's this. It's this. So the San Antonio Spurs elected to hire Mitch Johnson as the next head coach for the team. So obviously, a lot of us have talked about, okay, they can go after Mike Malone. We talked about Taylor Jenkins. That was more so my pick. It was many coaches on the board that they could have chose from, and they chose Mitch Johnson. And you can see here, this is Shams kind of elaborating, right, a little bit. So he said, by choosing Johnson as the organization's new coach, the Spurs maintain the continuity and through line laid out by Popovich and CEO R.C. Buford, as well as general manager Brian Wright, who was hired in the same 2016 offseason as Johnson. So let me go ahead and say this. Okay? I am 110% on board. Now, I'm going to be authentic with you, okay? When I first heard the news, I was like, really? There's so many other coaches on the board. But it took me at least just a couple minutes to think it through, and I chilled out. And the reason why I chilled out is because I realized something, okay? I realized something. It's something that we brought up before, but I've been so infatuated, I don't know if that's the right word, with the idea of grabbing Mike Malone or all these other coaches that became available all of a sudden. I've been so hooked on that till I didn't really think it through when it came to Mitch Johnson being an option. So the one thing about Mitch Johnson that I think is, something happened with my camera. One thing about Mitch Johnson that I think we have been missing, and one thing we haven't talked about, and I literally mentioned it maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago probably, is this isn't his team. This team this season was not his team. It was kind of one of those situations where you're keeping the seat warm for Pop, right? Like, you don't know if he'll be back. I don't think Pop even knew if he'd be back. It's kind of up in the air. You're not going to shake things up too much. Now, I do think that his rotations were pretty bad, but you could say that about a lot of coaches in the NBA this season in particular. So that can be fixed. But as far as his vision, his envision for the future, for this the San Antonio Spurs as a whole, he's finally going to be able to have all of the say so and what he decides to do, with the team. And I think that Shams actually bring up a really good point that, yeah, it's also still laying out what was already established from Brian Wright, from Popovich, from R.C. Buford, and they're all on the same board there. But this is probably the most important thing. I say all that, okay, that was I know that was a lot of yapping, but this is the most important thing. This is one thing that we all need to realize, and we need to recognize this, okay? Let's be real here. Yeah, I need to put it on my face. Hold on, let me do this. Let me tell you something. Mitch Johnson does not become the head coach without Wemby wanting it. There is no way the San Antonio Spurs make Mitch Johnson the coach and Wemby didn't give the okay. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Now, let me say this, right? And I don't even have to say this, but I heard myself that would be true. But also, it's been reported at this point that, yes, he got the okay. So Wemby more than likely, okay, if you guys know, if I'm giving you that look, you know what that means. More than likely came to the San Antonio Spurs and said, yeah, yes, let's keep Mitch Johnson. So he truly does believe in the franchise. He believes in the organization. He's had to say so on many different occasions on whether or not the San Antonio Spurs does something. Now, I think some people misinterpret what I say when I say that. So here, let me go to my Twitter page, and I posted this. So here, sorry, I gotta do everything manually now. I said Wemby's been pretty clear about his trust in Mitch Johnson, and like with everything else, they wouldn't have signed off on hiring him without Wemby's okay. And then this person right here says there's zero chance they asked Wemby about any of this. Obviously, I said what? Because I'm like, what are we even talking about? He says Wemby is a second-year player. They don't run personnel decisions through him yet. I'm sure they took into account that Mitch is the guy, but they in no way called and asked for his blessing on this deal. Let me tell you guys something, okay? Let me tell you something. Because I'm not just going to call this person out particular, because I'm sure plenty of people think this way. So this is why I'm addressing it, because I think a lot of people think this way. And the reason why I think that is because I've seen a lot of people getting upset at the front office when it comes to this, and then some people saying Wemby's going to leave. Like it's kind of wild, right? So Wembanyama, it's been well known and documented that every single time that the San Antonio Spurs made a decision, they asked Wemby, how do you feel about it? Make sure that he's cool. Make sure that he's okay. Obviously, the front office has the final say so. Obviously, everyone knows that. Okay, it's not like Wemby is LeBron James and he's just making all these deals, right? I mean, LeBron didn't either, but LeBron definitely had a little bit more control than Wemby. But the San Antonio Spurs want him to be involved. I saw some people saying, well, he's informed, but he's not involved. He's involved, right? If you just take just do a random metaphor, okay? Let's take a relationship, right? Let's say that some of you guys are married, okay? Well, a lot of you guys are married. So let's just say, a lot of times the woman is the interior decorator of the house, right? And let's say that she wants to buy a love seat. She's like, I want to bring in a love seat. We know that she has the final say in whether or not she buys that love seat. But she comes to her partner and she's like, I'm thinking about, and I'm intending to buy this love seat. And she shows the love seat. Why is she doing that? If she doesn't want him involved at all, if she doesn't want him informed at all, if she doesn't want you, I should just say you, if she doesn't want you informed and involved, then why is she doing that? She's just telling you just to tell you? Because I'll tell you this, if you're neutral about it, she's going to get it. If you're happy with it, she's going to get it. If you're adamantly against it, she's gonna second think herself and be like, okay, maybe we could think of a different love seat, right? Like that's how this would work. The San Antonio Spurs aren't coming to Wemby and like obviously coming down with their heads bowed and say, Wemby, is this okay for? They're coming to him and say, hey, we're intending to do this. This is the plan that we're thinking about doing, and Wemby would give you the okay. Wemby's either gonna be like, yeah, that's cool, or I trust you. But if Wemby said, I do not want Mitch Johnson, if he didn't want this coach, we wouldn't have this coach, okay? You need to understand that. If Wemby said, I don't want this coach, we're not going to have that coach. It's either going to be a conversation, and they're going to interview some other coaches before they get to that point, or they're going to just not do it. Yeah. I feel like Clan got into an argument with a girl over love seats. No. No. By the way, I it would drive me crazy living somewhere and I don't choose also like the furniture and stuff. Like I would be deeply involved. I would enjoy it. I would actually enjoy it. Okay. That's the fun part of living anywhere. But no. Anyways, besides the point. All I'm trying to say is Wemby's involved. And I think that it's foolish, and I think it's a little naive to think that Wemby has no involvement and they don't talk to him about any of it. They did it with Fox. They did it with Castle. They have the intention to do something. They come to him, make sure like, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. And Wemby is either neutral or he's on board. And if he wasn't on board, then they would second guess it and probably not do it. Right? So that's what it comes down to. I guarantee you that the San Antonio Spurs want it. I guarantee you the San Antonio Spurs want it to, search around or whatnot. But this is, if this is what Wemby wanted, if he trusts this coach, then they're going to roll with it. That's what it comes down to. We're not going to be stupid. The Spurs aren't going to be stupid here, right? They understand this is a generational talent. They understand that he is part of the franchise. Wemby has said that he's been involved. Wemby has said that they come to him and ask him if stuff is okay. He just trusts the front office. That's all it is. He's playing his role, but they're showing him that level of respect. And they do care about his opinion. Because at the end of the day, Wemby's happiness matters above everything else. When you have a generational talent like that. His happiness, his comfort is kind of above everything else. Luckily for us, Wemby has from what we've seen, has pretty high character, quite humble, all things considered. Sometimes he can get a little full of himself, but a lot of you guys say it's just because he's French clan. But, he's humble, all things considered, for his talent level, right? And I think that we got the perfect player here that trusts the franchise, trusts the front office, and willing to roll with what we go with. But a decision like this isn't made without Wemby's okay. So when you guys get upset or anybody's like really angry about this, just keep in mind this is what Wemby wanted. As long as you keep that in mind, you'll feel a little bit better. Just remember Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone allegedly losing the locker room, so players' approval should be considered. Players' approval should always be considered. I mean, even when it's BS, right? Like, that's still what's said about coaches, right? That's always said, like, oh, they lost the locker room. That's always the reason for a coach to be fired. Okay? So that's my take on it. So my two takes are, number one, Mitch Johnson never actually had the team to, do what he sees fit. So now we fully get to see what a Mitch Johnson team looks like with him implementing his own ideology when it comes to basketball. And actually, I have three things. So there's one, he get to have the team, right? Number two, Wemby definitely called off on it if you're going to get any type of head coach or keep the head coach. That is something that Wemby wants, and that's something that's Wemby's cool with, right? Like that's important. And number three, the fact that he was an assistant head coach behind Popovich already gives us a sign off that he's a pretty decent coach. This season, he's very young. He made some mistakes. I'm going to be optimistic and say, hey, you finally got the team. This is your team now. You can fully embrace it. You know what I mean? True. I agree with that. Locked in. He says, Pop gave us the culture. As long as we stay true to that, we will always be in position to succeed. Yeah. Spurs have been a successful franchise forever. So, yeah. Trust the org that got us here. They know what they're doing. Yeah. Claim your own money with this take. Well, it just is what it is, right? I think we don't need to get overly upset or overly worried, because it just is. It is what it is. If our main guy is cool with it, I'm cool with it, right? Like I can't, And another thing that's important too is it's a good thing that our franchise does do that. Like, ask players like how they feel. Well, certain players, they're not going to ask Keldon about every decision they make. They're going to ask Wemby. But I think it's really important that they're asking, because it also, as a player, it makes you take on quite a bit of ownership, right? It makes you take on ownership of your choices as well. So, for instance, when Wemby was talking about some of the decisions that the Spurs were making, he was like, oh, we weren't adjusting well enough. Obviously, he was talking about the coaching staff, but then he instantly, after that, said, I need to do better. I need to make more sound decisions. So it's kind of nice, because if you have a player that's willing to you're talking to your player and you respect them enough, and they're willing to say, yes, I want this. Yes, that's cool. I'm trusting you. They're taking ownership over the team, right? They're like, hey, I'm a piece of this. I'm a part of this. And for this to work, I have to do my part, right? And now if he was just sitting around no, I want this, I want that. No, I don't want this to happen. I don't want Fox. Fox is going to, if he was doing that, then we'll be in trouble. But he's taking ownership of it. He's like, okay, I trust you. Yeah, that's a good move. I'm cool with it. And we're rolling, right? Did it with Castle. Did it with Fox. And I guarantee you, I promise you, I'm giving you that look again. You know what that means. He did it with Mitch Johnson. A trust between the front office is a crazy tightrope to walk as an organization. I just hope Mitch Johnson gained some confidence after his experience this season. He seems timid. Am I alone in this sentiment? He's not timid. Okay, he's not timid. I know what you're saying, though. I feel like as the season went on, especially near the end of it, he became a little bit more vocal. It seemed like a big chunk of it, because he's so young, right? A big chunk of it was allowing the veterans to take over and allowing the veterans to kind of lead the pack a little bit. But as we got further near the end, it seemed like he got a little bit more comfortable. I don't know if maybe at that point they have already kind of alluded to the fact that he's going to continue. But yeah, he started getting a little bit more like in ref stuff, you know, getting on the players a little bit more too. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Like, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I didn't want, you know, I wanted Mitch Johnson all along. Like, no, dude, I was very adamant that like Mike Malone, right? Mike Malone, Taylor Jenkins, that's what I want to roll with. But I can't just go back on everything I said before, where I did bring up on quite a few of occasions, especially when he first became coach or interim head coach, that I wasn't going to be too hard on him because it wasn't his team. So I'll lean on that again. Anyways. Yeah, exactly my point. Thanks, Clan. Better said than me. Oh, the whole timid thing? Yeah. Yo, what's good, Clan? We going 50-32. Calm down. Wait, we might, though. Honestly, wait, we might. In the West, that's like 12th seed. So. It's the Spurs. We probably made the decision 3 months ago. This decision wasn't made today. All right, we'll say that. It wasn't made today. It wasn't made today. And if they talk to Wemby, I would assume they talk to him in person. And as of right now, Wemby isn't in America right now. So, yeah, it was probably decided a minute ago. When did Wemby go over? Was it a week ago that he went over? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know the details of that. I don't know if they talked to him in person or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Decision was made after the restaurant scare. I think the decision, probably for Pop, his decision like, oh yeah, I'm probably not coming back, was probably made. By the way, it's really cool and respectful for the Spurs to not just like, I mean, I don't think any franchise would do it because that's just so disrespectful, but like just to get rid of Pop, you know? They allowed him to say his piece. Oh, a few other things. I forgot to talk about this. Adam Silver's statements regarding Pop. Greg Popovich's sustained success as a head coach of the San Antonio Spurs is incomparable. In addition to his many accolades, including 5 NBA championships, the most wins in league history, and an Olympic gold medal, Coach Pop has developed generations of players and coaches and been a driving force behind the global growth of basketball. There are few people in the basketball community as beloved and revered as Coach Pop. We thank him for his extraordinary leadership and commitment to our sport, and wish him well as he embarks on his new role with the San Antonio Spurs organization. So yeah, he'll still be involved, obviously. A few other things. We got our boy. This is a dope shirt. I need this shirt. We got our boy Steve Kerr rocking the Pop shirt. He said it's a day, but it's an encouraging day. Mixed emotions, and called it an emotional day. And then we have Udoka. Knew this day was coming a while ago. Glad I got a chance to work with him. Glad to call him a friend. So yeah. So hopefully Pop will be all right. You know, he don't need that stress on his mind. He needs to be a fan. He needs to, obviously he'll still help the franchise, but he need to be a fan. We don't need him on the court yelling at refs all game, you know? Bittersweet day. We all need that shirt. It's kind of dope. I'm not going to lie to you. They should give it out for free, to be real with you. Seems kind of weird if you sell that shirt. Don't sell that shirt. Pop will be great. I love Pop. Pop is great. CP3 is a backup point guard and player coach to fill newly vacated assistant coach slot. Do y'all think Chris Paul is San Antonio? Like, that's a question that I have. Like, first off, I don't think he's done playing, but I could be wrong. But is he San Antonio? You know? Like, is Chris Paul his first coaching gig? Do you think it's, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to San Antonio? I don't know. Renamed Coach of the Year award. Yes. Dude, I've been thinking about that for the longest. Yeah, it got to be the Popovich award. And don't do it when he's like gone. Like, I hate when they do that. Like, they wait till someone's gone to do it. Anyways. All right. Love you, Pop.